Capital One Bank Settlement, 2025. No amount, eligibility and payment dates, April 14, 2025. Capital One suffered one of the largest bank breaches in 2019, affecting almost 98 million individuals. The attack exposed personal details like addresses, social security numbers, bank account data, as well as their credit scores. Let everyone know in the comments below what you Homo sapiens and off-world aliens think. Also, subscribe, like, share, dance a jig for fast, to-the-point news and information daily. Getting a foothold on YouTube is impossible without your direct participation. Now back to our story, folks. The victims were at a high risk of ID fraud, compromised transactions, as well as financial instability. The $190 million class action settlement to pay affected customers was approved in 2022. Claimants who were eligible were given the option to apply for reimbursement of immediate financial loss, time lost in settling fraud issues, and ongoing protection against identity theft. Capital One Bank Settlement, 2025. The initial payments were made in 2023 and 2024, while the longer-term identity protection benefits are available until 2028. The 2019 Capital One breach had extensive impacts, reaching millions of consumers as well as exposing highly personal information. The breach itself resulted from a former Amazon Web Services worker who took advantage of a Capital One cloud-based storage system vulnerability. Individuals who met the requirements could be granted monetary compensation. Even if a customer incurred no monetary loss, they could be compensated in the form of identity protection services, which they can currently use through 2028. Capital One Class Action Settlement, 2025. Overview. What is the settlement amount? Capital One Banking Institution in 2021 agreed to pay $190 million to settle a class action lawsuit brought by American customers against the bank. The plaintiffs will be given a total of $25,000 each as compensation for their lost money. Capital One was fined $80 million by the USOCC for the same violation, though it was over a year ago. The Capital One class action settlement will be done by email through EpiqPay. The amount will be given to those who are affected to help them offset fees related to the breach, including fraud, identity theft, and data security charges. About $25 per hour can be recovered for lost time, or roughly 15 hours. The money that goes unclaimed is not something to worry about. People will be receiving the money in a paper check if payment is not made electronically, and it will be delivered 2 to 4 weeks after the submission deadline for an electronic payment. Understanding the Capital One settlement. Such persons who lost money on account of system hacks can file a Capital One settlement claim. Despite all the technological advancements made in the area of IT infrastructure, Capital One informed in July 2019 that a third party had breached important customer information. The payment of the Capital One settlement has been made in relation to the breach of data. Through the EpiqPay digital payment network, class settlement money is paid to class members. In addition to this, class members who mainly met the payment requirements as well as submitted a valid email address to the Capital One Settlement Administrator would get an email of a list of digital payment options. According to the website, you can get your settlement money by utilizing the claim payment link contained in any reminder email you've received from EpiqPay regarding payment due by March 27, 2023. What did individuals get from this settlement? The settlement package also involved monetary compensation directly as well as long-term security services. Monetary compensation. Capital One issued cash reimbursements to victims who were able to document financial losses as a result of the breach. The reimbursement was categorized into 3 tiers: out-of-pocket expenses. Those who had unauthorized charges, fraud-related bills, or security enhancements may recover a maximum of $25,000. Lost time. Compensation. Claimants who lost time addressing fraud-related problems were provided $25 per hour for a maximum of 15 hours. General compensation. Those who did not exhibit great financial loss collected $50 to $250, varying according to the number of valid claims. Identity protection and restoration services until 2028. Capital One also gave the affected customers non-monetary compensation. They provided the following free financial transaction tracking as well as credit report tracking, fraud alerts and identity theft insurance, which offer extra protection against unauthorized financial transactions. Identity restoration support, which includes expert advice for victims of identity theft. These services are mainly free for individuals who are eligible and will be available through February 13, 2028. Capital One settlement payment timeline. The data breach occurred in 2019. The settlement was approved on September 13, 2022. The claim submission deadline was September 30, 2022. The first payment was issued on September 28, 2023. The second payment is slated for September 4, 2024. Identity protection services will end on February 13, 2028. Are you entitled to a payment? Not all Capital One account holders are eligible for a payment. Individuals only qualify if they met the guidelines, which are as follows. You were notified by Capital One in a formal notice that your information was impacted by the 2019 breach. Individuals whose name, address, SSN, bank account number, or other information were compromised in the breach. You made a timely and valid claim form submission. You can supply evidence of financial loss incurred or expenses related to the breach. If you qualify, you will already have submitted your claim since the deadline has expired. FAQs. What is the Capital One settlement? It was a data breach by Capital One Bank in which around 98 million Capital One customers had their personal information compromised. You may be eligible for the 2023 class action lawsuit payment. Who is eligible to get it? It was a data breach by Capital One Bank in which around 98 million Capital One customers had their personal information compromised. You may be eligible for the 2023 class action lawsuit payment. How to apply for the settlement amount. In order to apply, eligible individuals can visit the official website of the Capital One settlement, or they can also call the settlement administrator at 1-855-604-1811 to file the claim. Hope you learned something today.